So today we are going to make some tropical house, and we are going to use Ableton Live and one more third-party plugin, Massive by Native Instruments. We have two sections. We have the drum section and the song group, and inside of the song group in this case, we only use Massive. Over here in the drums group, we are using drum samples out of the Deep Premium package. I will make this template available and all the drum sounds will be part of it. So our song group consists of risers, bass notes over here, some pad notes, some pad tracks, and a stab, and a couple of plucks, and a flute, like the typical tropical flutes and plucks. Over here in the drum section, we grouped all those MIDI tracks. We created a new MIDI track for the kick first. And how do you do that? You go to your kick samples, select a kick sample, and then drag it onto the MIDI track that you want to play it, and then just drag it here, and it will automatically open up a simpler and place your WAV file in there. Then you go ahead and click into this region, create a new MIDI clip, and give it some kick information, something like C3. It has to be C3 always, and you're using the length 1. So this is how you create those MIDI tracks and how I created them. And on this track over here, we have a kick with C3 notes, and let's quickly copy this here to see it one by one. What's happening? The next track we are using is a snip kind of sample, or I call it snip. It's basically the position of the clap. Oh, it's actually some percussive element, and it's on position 1.2 and 1.4, and we are applying a little bit of EQing over here. How do you do that? You go to audio samples, audio effects, click EQ8, and drag it on here, and then you get this equalizer. I'm undoing that quickly, and then I also use a reverb, like this reverb over here, and putting it on 38%. So let's copy this here as well. And the sample is a little pitched in the transposition, so I'm using it a little higher than actually planned. And one over here, you can see one goes to the left of the panorama and one goes to the right of the panorama. And this sample track starts 11 milliseconds earlier than that one. That's the overall start. And we are also applying a little bit of the send and return effects over here. So we have a return channel reverb over here and a delay on the other return channel, A and B. And those two can be manipulated over here. And you see on this snip, we are using a little bit of delay and reverb from the return channel, and over here a little bit of reverb from the return channel as well. So how does it sound in the end? And this snip sound over here, this one is you see we have two notes quickly after another. It sounds like several fingers. Then we have a crash over here. That's actually a shaker. We have a shaker that's getting delayed a little bit, and we have a little bit of EQing going on over here and a little bit of delay, so that's what it's doing. Also, there are more percussion elements over here. What do we have here? Something at the end of the every second bar. Very tiny element, adding a little bit of drive. Over here we have a shaker head, so that's a dry shaker sample, and then we are applying a little bit of EQing and also a little bit of quick simple delay. So the one is there directly 1/16 after like the initial sample. And we are on position 1.1.3, 1.2.3, and so on, offbeat. Also over here we use a ride sample, and we are playing it on those notes over here. Okay, over here we have a shaker. It's placed on that position. And over here we have a clap that is working as a crash, more or less. Getting a very long reverb time, like 5.9, almost 6 seconds, and a little bit of auto panning from the left to the right. And also one more thing, we have a bongo loop over here. Or what is a loop? There's just some bongos playing. Actually 3 different kinds of bongos tuned in 3 different notes. And that's an audio track over here. So let's play everything together. And that's basically the drumming that we will be using here. Now we can go to the song group. Head over to the song group. Let me just quickly copy this part over here. We are going to be using this, this MIDI information. And we are going to loop this section. So I'm selecting the area and loop the selection like this. The first thing in our song group, we have risers. 2 risers. What is a riser? It's a tone, MIDI tone, like this one, pitched up, basically. That's done with the massive over here. Like in this entire project, I'm using presets, and I'm only going to be using those over here. I created them for Tropical House. So this is what's happening over here with this patch. What it's doing is basically pitching up from -24 to 48, and it's doing that in a certain amount of time defined by this ratio over here. If I get this ratio a little higher, then it will take longer to pitch up. And then I'm EQing a little bit out of the low frequencies. And I'm also applying white noise over here. So you see the amp of the white noise is pretty high, and we're using a square sound over there. So the second riser basically works the same. It's just a little slightly different. And if we listen to all of them together, we get this. So then we have 2 different kind of basses. This one is a little jumpier and the other one is a little held longer. Our notes over here are E, C, G, and D. Pretty basic notes, and we are going bum 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 bum. And that's basically what this thing over here is doing. So if we place this here and use bass, it's a square and saw mix. We have a second bass, but we are only playing one at a time. So the second bass is a longer bass, and I'm taking those notes quickly in here, and I'm dragging them longer. I'm deactivating this bass, and I'm showing you those notes so you see they're longer. It's basically the same notes, but it's just played out as one single long note. And let's listen to the sound. I'm using smooth square over here, a little bit of LFO going on. So that's basically what's happening over here with the macro control of LFO over here. You can mess around with this amplifier, and you see it's up 3/4 already. And that's the sound. A little bit of side chaining here, moderate ratio, but threshold pretty high. And over here we have another saw pad. Those are the chords for this track. We have B, A, G, E, B, and E. There we have various pad sounds. This one is really bright and high frequent pad sound, but we have another one over here for the chilled parts. So we're using additive waves, classic, additive second, and a little bit of noise on top and a little bit of filtering. That's how we get there. A little bit of sidechaining as well, and a chorus slightly applied, and we are cutting out some of the lower frequencies over here. So that's a smooth pad, and then we have another pad, the LFO pad, and that one does some pretty interesting sounds and adds some nice atmosphere in here. This patch, and we can mess around with the LFO a little bit with this control over here. And of course we can also mess around with reverb. I also have some stabs over here. So this is this MIDI information. Let's drag this longer and see the positioning. We are going in at 1.2.4 and at 1.3.3. So we are pretty offbeat, but that's typical tropical and sounds nice. But we are just cutting out some lower frequencies below over there. And then there's also, we have plucks. Here's the melody of the pluck. And we are playing a pluck sound out of massive sidechaining, a little bit of low cutting, and a little bit of limiting. Maybe not necessary, but anyways. And we are playing a little saw, a little more saw, and a little more saw, and so this is a pretty playful melody I just put in here, and we are just playing almost the same notes like the chords we have, and I just messed around a little bit with the dynamics of the notes, as you can see. So and we're using that same MIDI on the next pluck as well. There's another pluck, it's a little brighter. A little bit of delay on that one. we aren't really using this oscillator over here, we are using those two, because that one is in the macro control. As you can see, it's turned off. And we are adding a little bit of bright noise, but not too much. And we are adding in just a little bit of this insert effect over here. And also we have a tropical flute, and this flute is basically doing this kind of stuff. It's playing the same notes, and it's centered, whereas those two are a little bit to the left and a little bit to the right in the panorama. And this flute over here, it's centered, it's low-cutted as well, and we are using drive, not too much of carbon, but a little more of G-pulse. Okay, so this is basically all the sounds we are using, and now it's just a question of arranging them a bit. So we are quickly starting with just one of the two plugs, chilled pad sound, more or less, and that's how we go in. We go with a crash as well, and with the clap with a long reverb time. And now we are getting in with some snips, rides, and the bongos. We also already put in the bass, but we automate the gain a little bit with the utility. Utilities are over here. You can use them for automation pretty nicely. And the big pad, like that's the bright pad, it's also being automated in here. The filter is automated. So if you automate the filter, you can see it over here. And also the other pad is playing, and the flute is coming in as well. So we and now we put in the kicks and more shakers and the percussive elements, but we take out all the plugs and we go with the stabs. Taken out some of the notes of the melody to make this part, like this bridge part, a little more interesting. So it's not playing the same thing all the time, but we are like doing some variations over here. So I deactivated some of the notes. How do you deactivate notes? You go over the note and press 0 and 0, or you right click. Several options. And yeah, basically we're going into this break over here, and then we are going back into the part where we play the flute on top, and then we play the entire melody with all the notes back here. And you can see over here, the LFO pad is being auto-filtered down in this part. So the filter is working like a low cut, a reverse low cut. Over here, just take down the volume or the filter of this massive pad, and I'm playing those notes, like those last notes of the melody again to signalize that we are going to stop over here, and this bass is also being taken down in the gain. So this is basically a simple arrangement for a tropical tune. You can stretch it to 2 more minutes or something, it's no problem, just repeat that process or something, or maybe make this part over here a little longer. On our master, we are applying a little utility because I worked with pretty low gains over here, so I still have headroom left, and then I'm also applying a simple EQ that takes out some of the low frequencies on the sides and some of them in the mid, but just the lowest ones, we can actually drag that up a little bit. Then we have some multi-band dynamics, a gluing compressor, and a limiter, just very moderately used over here. So this is basically a simple tropical house track with Ableton Live, with some massive presets. You can check the description for the template and the presets, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Subscribe to our channel and see you next time. Bye.